Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video on this very damp and dreary day in Newcastle. Off the back of a fantastic weekend, a massive win for the men's team as we beat Manchester United 1-0 at St James's Park. The women's team won as well. They went top of the league. We drew Sunderland in the FA Cup. What a weekend that was. Wake up this morning and some tough news to take as one of Newcastle's star performing players, Nick Pope, is set to be out for 4 to 5 months. That's right, that Newcastle's injured 11 or unavailable 11 continues to grow in strength. But have Newcastle found an alternative, a temporary replacement already? Newcastle United this lunchtime being linked with David De Gea, the ex-Manchester United current free agent, could be an emergency move for Newcastle to bring in as the new number one. Bearing in mind Manchester United kicked him to the curb, brought in a goalkeeper who doesn't know how to catch a ball. I've got a feeling De Gea could have a point to prove coming to Newcastle to show what he can do and probably show up his old team as well. So we'll talk about that, as well as the fact Newcastle are bringing in a new partnership deal this morning. Sounds like Newcastle really are trying to bring in that little bit of extra money and that little bit of extra prep ahead of the January window. Before we get into this video, guys, be sure to hit that subscribe button. As I say, loads of content coming up at the minute. It was an extremely busy weekend, loads going on. It's going to be a busy month, isn't it? We press on to Everton on Thursday, Spurs on Sunday, and as I say, I keep saying it, you know, these players keep running their hearts out, you know, and without any real backup at the moment, I think it's really just showing exactly how precious this January window will be after what maybe, you know, wasn't thought to be as big of a window as it's going to be. Eddie Howe was quite open to say that we had no plans on spending any money this January window. He was going to save it all for the summer. I mean, we spent heavily in the summer. You look at Harvey Barnes for 30 million that we've not really seen. Tonali's not available till the end of the season. That's another 55 million. Livramento, I will say, has been quality. It's great to see him starting to get that more and more game time. I think he's had a man of the match performance every match we've played in so far. You can look at Lewis Miley as well. I mean, that's one positive, I guess, that's coming out of the fact that we do have injuries right now, is that Livramento's got that more game time. You know, Lewis Miley, lots of young players in this Newcastle squad right now. Lewis Miley, 17-year-old lad, you know. We knew he was good. Eddie Howe said he didn't want to let him go out on loan. He always said he would stay with the squad. How much game time he was going to get was always uncertain. You know, he's playing every game at the moment. I've no doubt he's absolutely loving it. He got his Champions League game, you know, which was tough to take, but being a part of the side who beat Chelsea 4-1, drew 1-1 with PSG that we were robbed in, beat Manchester United 1-0. You know, this lad is out there living the dream, and it's absolutely fantastic to see. You know, even bloody Klopp from Liverpool was praising Newcastle over the weekend. You know, he doesn't often praise us, probably because you know, we were the team who took his top 4 spot last season. Even he was coming out and saying, you know, how great Eddie Howe and how much the fight that we are showing right now. You know, that's the thing. I do keep worrying, no injury issues, this and that, but you know, we're doing it. You know, there doesn't seem to be any let up, but there is a lot of games coming up. And as I say, the loss of another player in Nick Pope isn't making it any easier. You could look to the fact that, you know, fair enough, injury to Nick Pope is a tough one to take. But we do have Dubravka, we do have Lloris, we do have Gillespie. So technically speaking, we do actually have 3 goalkeepers on the books. You could say if we were going to get an injury anywhere, it's probably one of the one positions we do have that we've got plenty of backup in. The question, however, is that do you think is Dubravka enough? I mean, you would never have questioned this not too long ago. You know, really, when Eddie Howe came in and the takeover happened, I think goalkeeper was probably one of the last positions that us fans were saying that we needed to go and strengthen in, but it was one of the positions that Eddie Howe clearly felt that we did need to go and strengthen. We've brought Nick Pope in, and he's been an absolute revelation to the squad. We've got Lloris at the back, and then we've still got Gillespie knocking around as well. So it is an interesting one to hear that Newcastle have you know, acted seemingly very quickly, according to reports today, and it's De Gea, the man we were looking at. We were actually linked with Lloris on the last day of the summer window, which has been said to be legit. You know, we did actually try and go for Lloris, and it was Lloris who reportedly turned it down. So despite the fact that we had Pope, Dubravka, Karius and Gillespie, I'm confusing myself with all these Llorises now, we did go for the Spurs Lloris, which would have made it, we had 5 goalkeepers on the books, but it was said that that's something that we did go for. So it shows that, you know, if we're pushing down the De Gea route as well, that could be one we'll look at, and I'll be interested to know your thoughts on that one. And that's the thing, we don't really know where Dubravka is right now. If Dubravka's where he was a couple of seasons ago, I don't know that it's necessarily essential that we run out and try and pick somebody up. I think the fact that De Gea's been out of the game for a little while means that, you know, those 250, 300,000 pound a week contracts probably aren't what he's expecting. Or is he? You know, because that's the thing. If we can pick it up on a reasonable fee, you know, I think he's a good goalkeeper. I will say that he wasn't the goalkeeper that he was of a couple of years ago, maybe even longer ago, which I think does. Fair enough. Manchester United have brought in a goalkeeper who has been pretty pants Onana, but the reason still stood as to why they let De Gea go in the first place. You know, he had an incredibly large contract in terms of weekly wages, and they'd obviously seen something there that they weren't keen on anymore. I think for the benefit of us, if it was a short-term deal on a reasonable fee, it does help strengthen that area. You know, despite the fact that we had Dubravka, we had Karius, we had Gillespie, we were still looking at last minute trying to get goalies in for the cup final, which shows that Eddie Howe obviously doesn't think that, well, Dubravka couldn't play because he was cup tied, but it shows that he didn't think Karius or Gillespie was maybe the man for the job, which is why it's shooting off, I think, possibly these De Gea rumours. You know, we've got a lot of games coming up. We've got a very, very busy period. I think losing our goalkeeper is going to be tough. You know, the Sunderland draw, I mean, that is one that people have already got their eyes on. Cannot wait to see Lewis Miley making his, you know, tight and weird Derby debut. You know, there's a lot to look forward to right now. And with a lot of injuries cropping up, it is making it tough for us. Could the likes of a De Gea try and ease a little bit of that stress on Dubravka if something was to go wrong with him? And now we are looking down the line going, actually, we should have acted sooner. And maybe that's the way Eddie Howe's thinking. He might be thinking, you know what, we need to give Dubravka a bit of competition between the pair of them for the next 4 or 5 months. You know, rather than just going, right, Dubravka, it's all yours. A couple of poor games later, or even an injury, God forbid, and then we're having to look at real emergencies. Why not act quickly now on a free transfer who can come in and be available instantly? We will have to wait and see. Let me know your thoughts on De Gea down in the comments below. Is he someone you thought would go for? Is it someone you think we need? I would still have faith in Dubravka. You know, I don't know that goalkeeper is one we need to rush out for, but I just don't think Eddie Howe fancies Dubravka. I think he would have gone in the summer if there'd been something available. We saw him go out on loan. He was one of the first people to get replaced when Eddie Howe came in. Whatever he's done, Eddie Howe isn't keen on it, and potentially a move would be his preference over giving Dubravka another shout. Give me your thoughts on that one down below. Thanks for watching. As always, if you have enjoyed this video, do let me know. Let me know your thoughts on the Nick Pope injury, the busy and great weekend we've had, and the fact that, God, Newcastle brought in a new sponsorship deal as well. InPost UK. From what I can understand, it's a delivery service. The ability to, these days when you're out at work and everything's online, isn't it now? Amazon Prime, you can basically hire a locker. So round at your corner shop, they can drop it off there. You can pick it up on your way home from work. You know, there you go. So I don't know what Newcastle's putting in these lockers. Football boots for the game on the way to Everton for the next one. When they're away for Everton Spurs, can they get a few things dropped off at the office before? Because there'll be nobody in. I don't know, but it sounds like it's a new deal. It's more money coming into the Newcastle pocket. And as I say, I think we're going to need it for potentially De Gea's wages if that's what he wants, and then for what will be a very, very busy January window. As I say, off the back of Eddie Howe saying he had no plans to spend money this January, I don't think he's got much choice anymore. All right, guys, thanks for watching. As always, enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll catch you later.